Okay, we should be live here. Yes. All right. Testing sound. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Wonderful. Yeah, sounds coming through quite nice. Okay, adjusting the microphone here. Good morning. We will get started here in a few minutes. Give everybody a little bit of a chance to kind of jump in here. And let's see. Let's do this here. Adjust the camera a little bit. Just a bit. Yeah, that looks good. All right, good. Looks great. All right, let's go back and let's see what we've got here. Okay, it looks like we are live. Go back to chat. There we go. Stream chat. Okay. All right. We're going to do a little bit of a Facebook post. Join us live now for the 3D integration discussion. Now, actually, I've never actually posted directly from Twitch to Facebook. Let's see what this does. Post to Facebook. Once again, and let's go take a look at Facebook really fast. I'm just very curious to see how it looks. And let's refresh the page. Yep. Okay, yeah, I did. It posted directly to Facebook. Excellent. Excellent. All right. We'll get started here in just a few minutes. We're going to let everybody start jumping in. Let's go to Twitch so I can see who's here and who's not. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, we got a few people. Everybody's jumping in now. Fantastic. Okay. Say hello. Actually, type in the chat box where you're from. I always like to do that each time we do this little broadcast. And I'm going to type in here, hello, everyone. Just for the fun of it. Yeah, type in your, share with us where you're coming from. Also, Carm is here. No, you're not late, Carm. That's disgusting. I'm not even going to post it. Greetings from Moscow, Idaho. That's the one I'm going to post. So I am going to, for those who want to come in live, join us in live. I will let me type in here to share live. Go to, all right, I'm going to give you the link to log on live to StreamYard to share. Cool. There you go. So it's in the chat box for your convenience. All there ready. Essence, welcome. Who else is jumping in here? Yeah, not interesting. It's not showing up in the stream chat view, but a bunch of people are already here. All right, so Carm, go ahead. Do you want to jump on live and into StreamYard? Be happy to let you in. So go ahead and get your system set up. Essence, did you want to share anything today? Just go ahead. There we go. Carm is here. So Carm, I'm adding you to the broadcast now.
Hi.
Hey, good morning. How you doing?
Morning or afternoon. Good.
That's right. I mean, you're on the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's gonna be for you. It'll be afternoon. Definitely be about 1:05
Yep.
in the afternoon. And Moscow. That's the Essence mentioned. He's from Moscow, Idaho. And who else? Anybody who's jumping in just now? Come just put in the chat box where you're from. Ah, it's kind of a lazy morning, huh? Is it? What's the weather like over there, Karm?
It's a little overcasty, but I think it'll brighten up a little later.
Yeah, the same thing here in San Diego.
Well, that's how it is every morning in San Diego. Clears up around 11.
Yeah. Well, we had some pretty bright and sunny days from the morning on here a few days this week, so or last week, I should say. Cool. All right. So, once again, anybody who would like to share, I'm going to, for your convenience, I'm going to put in the chat box. We've got Carm here, and we're definitely going to get Carm to share because we missed him the last two times because we got so busy we couldn't get to him. So Carm gets to go first today. And I'll be happy to show some stuff, some things I'm working on in ZBrush and some light and some Blender tips and tricks as well. Um, we all often get Steve White here and the usual gang, so they'll be jumping in here anytime now. So just the FYI, next Sunday, I'm teaching my Death Valley workshop this coming weekend. So there will be no broadcast for this coming weekend, but we will broadcast a week after. Cool. So Carm,
Yeah.
you want to share your screen?
Okay.
And then just do whatever you like, as long as it's respectable.
Well, maybe you called the wrong guy.
I figured I better say that. Put it out there. Cover my bases here. Of course, this is Twitch. People do all types of crazy stuff.
Let me get Lightwave launched here.
All right, you got it.
I don't even know what I'm doing, but share.
That's why we call it kind of the integration discussion, because it's just we just get to play around with 3D and share tips and tricks and do anything we want to do.
Let's see, screen one. Yeah.
Cool. I see it. All right. I'm going to share your screen. Cool. We see you perfectly. All right. Yeah, we see your graph editor.
Yep.
With all the pretty colors surrounding it.
So what am I doing? Let me think.
I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Want to show some character rigging or character animation, anything in hair, hair creation. You're pretty good with all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I was working on that sculpt in ZBrush. You may remember from a few times ago.
Oh,
and
actually,
you said I could keep working on that.
Yeah, matter of fact, you want to share that? Because I'm definitely going to share some ZBrush stuff today as well. So bring up ZBrush. Released ZBrush. Yeah, more people are jumping in now. Welcome everybody. Good morning to the Lightwave 3D integration discussions. Which is basically we can talk about anything we want and how we use it with Lightwave. And that includes other programs like ZBrush and Blender and After Effects and Photoshop and all that stuff.
I gotta get my tablet plugged in. Hang on a second.
All right, sounds good. You gotta have your tablet plugged in.
I don't have enough room for my keyboard and the tablet at the same time, so I gotta swap them.
Okay. I'm using a 24 Cintiq, the Cintiq 24. So,
Oh,
and
fancy.
it came with a nice little bar, an elevation bar, so it's off the desk.
Well, I don't mean to brag, but I'm using one of those bamboo jobbers.
Okay. You know what? Have you seen SenseLab stuff?
SenseLab. Nope.
Yeah, SenseLab is less expensive than the Wacom. And it's a professional line. In fact, here I'm gonna just real quick. I'm gonna share my screens. I think the users would enjoy
Okay.
this as well. But you just keep your screen the way it is. I'll bring
Yep.
you back in a second. So share screen. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna share. Let's see, what screen do I want to share? I'll share that screen. That's fine. Okay, cool. All right. So let me get this out of there. And let me just shut that down for a second. All right, cool. So SenseLab, let me go back and grab one more of these little tabbies. It's a competitor to Wacom. So, and they're less expensive. So basically, let's see. Let me put in this XENSE and then labs. So that should be it right there. There it is. SenseLab strong tablets. Okay, so these are the new professional line of tablets. The company is called SenseLabs. They're the higher version of another company, and I'm forgetting the name of it. I don't know why. There's another company that makes tablets. If you name it out, I'll tell you. But here's their products. Okay, the small medium bundle. I mean, and they're supposedly working on a monitor equivalent to the Cintiq. Now, what's really nice now, SenseLabs have supported me with their tablets, and they're outstanding. And Carmen, I'm telling you, they're outstanding. They're just as good as the Wacom, and they're giving you more stuff. So when you get the SenseLab tablet, you get 2 pins. So I'm going to show you. I'm working on a Wacom Cintiq, by the way. So by default, you're getting here. I'm going to show you what you get by default. By default, you're getting the pin with the 2 buttons on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think most of us know that. I'm trying to get that to focus.
Yep.
There we go. But if I want to pin with the 3 buttons, which is called the 3D, I'm going to see if I can get that to focus too. The 3D pin, you get 3 buttons on it. There we go. Now it's focusing. You get 3 buttons on it, and this is to accommodate for that additional button that you're going to need for 3D software. All right. So with SenseLab, you get both of those pins with them. You get the one with the 3 button, which is the first one here. I don't know why they didn't turn this around so you can see that when they photograph this. But you get the one with the 3 buttons, and you get the one with the 2 buttons, the standard one. And then you're controlling the pins through these USB dongles here. All right. So you're getting the same amount of pressure sensitivity as you would with the Wacom tablet. I'm curious what the cost is on these. So if I go to the product, let's say I have the medium. So the pen tablet medium, this is what you're getting. Yes, that's maximize that screen so it's easier for everybody to see. Okay, this is what you're getting. And it's $279. Right? So the Wacom equivalent for the medium tablet is what, 365?
I don't know.
So yeah, I think it is about 365, 375, it's 300 and something. It's in the upper 300s. Okay.
Mine was 130, but it's the bamboo.
No, no, that's the bamboo. Bamboo is for kids.
It works fine. It works. You see what I'm doing with it.
Carm, I'm a car. I'm one of Walkman's pro artists. The bamboo is for kids. Just saying.
Such a snob.
I, I am I am not trying to be a snob. I'm just telling you the truth. So let's see.
This
Greetings.
guy I'm making with my tablet, my bamboo tablet, he looks fine.
Okay. David Glenn says, yes, David, we're going to do ZBrush today. I'll do some, I'm going to play in ZBrush as well. And the XP, okay. Thank you, David. Thank you, David Glenn. Appreciate it. The Sense Lab is the same company. XP Pen, I don't know, is it a subsidiary company to XP Pen? But XP Pen owns Sense Lab. Sense Lab is the pro version, right? It's the pro version of XP Pen. That's what this is. XP Pen costs a lot less. So if you, and I'm meaning you, Carm, if you spent the $279 for the medium tablet, you're getting the power of the Wacom, of the Pro Wacom right there.
You mean the Intuos?
The Intuos.
Well, I've had Intuos and I've had the bamboo, and frankly, I don't see much difference between them.
Okay, then I say you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
There's the difference.
Maybe I'm just too busy creating.
Well, no, trust me. Most creatives will tell you that the Wacom, the Intuos Pro is much better than the bamboo. Most of them will tell you that.
Well, as I said, I've used both.
Okay, so have I, and I see a difference.
I think if I was to have them both in front of me and I used one after the other, I might tell a difference. But
I tell a difference. I can feel the sensitivity and the responsiveness of the Intuos Pro in relationship to the bamboo. I can see it. So maybe it's just me.
I'm very happy with my bamboo.
Okay, you should be. But if you like your bamboo, it's okay. You can have your bamboo.
I don't think they make bamboo anymore. I think it's a different line.
No, I don't think so. I think it's now called the Intuos. So the bamboo is now called the Intuos.
No, the Intuos was the high end line, and the bamboo was created with the lower.
That's what it used to be, but now it's called the bamboo line is no longer bamboo. They switched it to Intuos, and then the higher line is now called Intuos Pro.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So there you go. And they've got, look at this. They've got different versions. They've got if you go to the large, let's see, they have a large. Do they have a large? Let's see. I guess the medium. What's the pen medium bundle? Yeah. So the bundle here, you get the tablet and the little remote control where because remember on the Wacom, you've got the buttons on the side of the tablet. Here you get the remote control. And you got several buttons on those controls. You got like 4 on either side. You can program them for whatever you want.
Dial's cool.
Yeah, and it's magnetic, right? So you can program it to whatever you want. They're the 2 pins. And this is $359 for this version. But you're getting more than what Wacom would give you. You're getting an additional pin and you're getting a remote control box. With Wacom, it will be close to, $70 to $100 for each of these independently, in addition to the tablet. So yeah, so be aware that you've got alternatives out there. XP Pen. Let me see if I can go to their site.
Grandmaster Zach says no rotation.
Yeah, that's the thing that bugs me. Grandmaster Zach, I'm going to kind of post.
What does he mean, pen angle?
No, he means rotation. All of the Wacom pens have angle or tilt, they call it. So,
yeah, that's what I meant.
So for those who may not be familiar with the Wacom tablet, I'm using my stylus, and if I tilt my stylus like this, right, I can change the angle of the brush. But rotation is where I'll hold it straight up and down and I rotate it like this.
Oh.
That's rotation. The only thing that has rotation is Wacom's 3D art pen. That's the only pen that has rotation. Even the let's see, XP pen here. I was doing the search for that. Even the what you're getting with the Sense Labs, they don't have rotation. That's the thing that bugs the hell out of me. It's like it should have rotation.
I never use tilt anyway, so I probably wouldn't
Well,
miss it.
yeah, I use it all the time. Tilting. I use rotation and tilt all the time for digital painting. I mean, I find it invaluable for digital painting. If I go to my XP pen, let's just go. So here's XP pen. So this is the lower version of Sense Lab. So let's see, the tablets are here. Let me see what the prices are on this. But you can look at the prices on here. They're about the same price as the Bamboo, right? So it's considered their lower version line to that of the Sense Labs. So that you're aware of it. So anybody who's on a budget, you've got alternatives out there, and because you have alternatives, and there's no excuse not to have a pen, a stylus, because if you're going to start getting into ZBrush, or especially in Blender, you're going to start sculpting in Blender, you need to have a stylus.
Well, that I agree with you.
Yeah, you got to have a stylus.
Without it, using a mouse is like using a potato for painting.
Yeah, exactly. Like somebody once said, it's like painting with a brick.
Yeah.
Or drawing with a brick, I think is what they said. So okay, so that's enough of me talking. So I'm going to go ahead and add you back to the stream. Cool. Now we're seeing your monitor, and I will maximize to your monitor.
All right. So one thing first of all, this was brought in as an OBJ, so that I have one of those XP pen toys. I think $400 for a 15-inch monitor, so I can draw. Not as good as the Cintiq, but much easier to haul around
than the 21-inch Cintiq. Yeah. So they have monitors too. The XP pen line, they have the monitors like the Cintiq, and they're way less expensive. I mean, look at this, $400 for a 15-inch. I mean, you would have spent what, close to $700 to $800 with Wacom.
So I brought this in as an OBJ. So the eyes and the face are all one mesh. I need to separate those.
Well, you can bring it in as a oh, come on, my brain's not working today.
Well, okay, I could just use polygroups here.
FBX. Bring it in as an FBX. It'll recognize all the layers.
Never tried that.
Yeah, it works. It should.
Well, I all I had was the OBJ, so I think if the
OBJ, if you had layers when you exported out as an OBJ, it should have maintained those layers. So if you go to your
OBJs don't have layers.
Oh, that's weird, because I created layers in Lightwave, exported out as OBJ, brought them into Photoshop, and Photoshop recognized those layers.
Strange.
Now, it's very strange.
Now, if I can remember, what keys do I click on to hide the... Nope, that's not it. There's a certain key combo you click on where it'll hide one.
I forget.
That's not it. There it is.
You want to share the key combination?
Yeah, hang on a second. I need to undo that show part. Okay, so I'm gonna duplicate this, hide one of them. All right, so if it's Shift and Control, there we go. So that hid everything except for the one I clicked on. So now I'm going to say modify topology and say delete hidden. Where'd it go? Here it is. Okay. Now I'm going to go to Subtools, hide this one, go over here, and so once again, there we go. And then delete hidden on that one. Okay, we're back. We're back where we were.
Cool.
So now I do want to, well, I'm going to turn this mesh off. And I'm going to go to move. And his nose is very wide in the center. I don't like that. So I'm going to bring that in.
So David Glenn said he bought his at Anime Expo. They were probably giving out good deals there.
And his nose, the tip of it is a little too dainty.
Pointy?
Yeah, a little feminine. Like a cute upturned nose. Oh, how can I possibly get any work done with this cheap tablet?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
And yet, he needs some more width in his nostrils too.
Have you ever tried working on a Cintiq?
Nope.
No? Oh boy.
I tried it.
It'll change your life. So what are you saying? You were born a poor child?
Well, we're all born a poor child, aren't we?
I guess you're right. Well, depends on the parents.
No, I mean you're
If you're born
first moments are poor, but then they may stick a silver spoon in your mouth after that. All right. So let me show you one of my little nitpicks about noses. So a lot of people just make a hole and push it in. That's not how noses are if you really look closely at them. So this flow here, this curls up and goes inside the nostril. This does not connect with this. This comes down here and this curls up in there. So I'm going to shrink my draw size down there.
And I said, and that's flesh that curls up in there. That's not really cartilage.
Well, the cartilage is up higher. Yeah, it's all flesh. I mean, there's a little bit of a bone up here, but let's see. Oh, I didn't turn on Dynamesh.
Love Dynamesh.
Oh, too low, too low.
That's way too low, huh? I say let's go high.
Well, you don't want too high. I'm still in a fairly roughing. I don't know why it keeps jumping down. Dynamesh. Yeah, let's go to 370. There. Yeah, that's good. Let's push up a little bit more. 440.
That's nice.
Oops.
You might want to explain what you're doing when you're clicking and dragging like that.
Okay, well that's how you do the Dynamesh. Zbrush has got a really weird. Well, it's very very tablet friendly, but it's very awkward when you're new to it. Like you don't have a second button to paint with. Second button brings up like a menu thing. So that they all got these like gestures. So like I click around in the background to rotate, or in this borderline. Like if everything's covered up, you can't click in the background, but you click here in this border zone to rotate. And so if you click, hold, and then hold the Alt key, now, oh, wait a minute. There, now you're moving. And then if you click and then let go, now you're zooming. And then so to do Dynamesh, you hold down the control button and you draw a box like you're drawing a mask, except if you don't paint it over the model, it says, oh, okay, doesn't want to draw a mask. He wants to use Dynamesh. And so that's how you refresh Dynamesh. So there's a lot of kooky gestures you got to learn. But once you get used to it, it's become second nature.
You might like to explain what Dynamesh is.
Well, Dynamesh is it's kind of like putting your model through a 3D cheese grater, and it just redoes the geometry. It's not the kind of thing you want to do, when you're finalizing an object, but when you're roughing like this, it's fantastic. It's like clay. It helps it be a lot like organic clay.
Wasn't the original workflow initial before Dynamesh was Z-Remesher?
Well, I thought that was for like converting high poly models to lower poly models so you can animate with it. But I guess you could use it for that. I've never tried that. So this needs to come in a little bit right here. And let's use Dam Standard to put a sort of a groove right there. Oh, we are hitting some geometry limitations. I guess I have to go up a little higher. Oops. I'm using my smooth brush here just to, let's see. By the way, what I'm doing here is I'm using Dam Standard, which draws grooves, like so. But when I hold the Alt key, it brings it out to like a ridge. So I'm accentuating that ridge around the part here that goes up into the nose. And then because that squeezes the polygons together into a line, I use Dynamesh to soften or relax them again. All right, see how that looks. Pretty good. I think it needs to come back a little bit. Like so. And these are like pushed down a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty good for now. I might go back to them later, but for now, let's put some more detail in the lips. Got to be careful when you're going down the center because you're stroking twice because of symmetry's on. So you got to use less pressure there. Oops.
Everybody has almost their own way of kind of creating their characters.
Yep. There, that's looking a little more kissable. Just fill that out a little more. All right, let's give a little more definition in the chin here. I'm going to lower my Z intensity a lot because damn standard is very sensitive.
I like the damn standard.
Yeah, it's pretty good for a damn tool. All right, what else we got going on here? Something weird is going on with the lips. I don't know why it's bugging me. Looks like it's like, oops. Oops, I was using a mask. Yeah, the bamboo has 3 buttons on the side, so I mean 4 rather. So I use one for undo, and the other is Control Alt and Shift, and that's all you need for ZBrush really. With a few exceptions, you can do pretty much everything with just that. So I guess we'll give him some ears now. What do you think? Actually, his eyes are looking a little like there's like it's all puffed out here. Oops.
So David Glenn mentions what he was told was to use geometry, divide for less destructive way for increasing the geometry. Dynamesh has this way of filling things in and destroying some of the details of your mesh if you're not careful.
Yeah.
You kind of have to learn how to use it. Yeah.
Fine little details. Yeah. If it's not high enough resolution.
But Dynamesh is also nice because it molds things together. It blends, dissimilar geometry together for you to sculpt into a single piece.
Let's see. I'll pull up a little reference here on the other monitor.
Yeah, references are critical.
All right, I'm gonna give him some Stallone eyes.
Oh, great! You had to choose Stallone.
Hey, you got a problem with Stallone?
I guess not.
He's got those lilting, drooping, sloping things going on with his eyes. I'm not gonna try to make him look like Stallone. I just want to borrow some of his features.
Right. Similar to what you would do as in concept art, where you borrow features from several different characters to create something different. Mhm.
Hey, you gotta cut me, Mick.
What was that?
I said, you gotta cut me, Mick. Oh, there we go. All right, let's put some ears on him. I mean, I'm not saying they're exactly like Stallone eyes, but it's for something where we have limited time. There's a bit of a recess right here. I want to fill that in. Oops, see that? It does that once in a while. You got to watch out for that.
Yeah.
Draw a stroke from across the solar system.
Are you sure you didn't accidentally hit the shift key?
Nope. I
Okay.
was doing the same stroke over and over again. I just decided to draw one from way out in Yonkers. All right. Let's give him some ears now. Some rough, quick and dirty ears.
All right. So David Clay mentions that Dynamesh is the lead pipe. It's a lead pipe sure way to make almost any mesh watertight. This is good for 3D printing. Yes, it is. It is. Yeah, ZBrush is very good about making sure that anything that it produces is going to be watertight, and you can just take whatever you create in ZBrush and bring it into your 3D printing software, and it will recognize it as one complete solid mesh and will print it. And I'll share with everybody too what I'm working on in ZBrush currently.
So the ears, whoops, they should be like right where your eyes are. And men have longer or larger ears than women.
Now, there aren't there body parts you can actually um, attach to it that they give you automatically. What is it called? It's the IM. Oh, oh gosh.
You're talking about like pre-modeled parts?
Yeah, the pre-model parts. You have them in ZBrush.
Oh, I don't know. I never mess with that.
Yeah, yeah, you do. It's the IM. If you hit the B for the brush and hit IM.
You mean this Lightbox?
No, no, hit B on your keyboard. Not Lightbox.
I did. Nothing happened.
B should bring up your brush palette.
Oh, it brought up. Okay, yeah. It's put a thing up over here.
All right, and then hit IM or I. It should bring up the IM. I forget what it stands for. Hold on a second. I'm doing it on my ZBrush here. Okay, so the IMM parts, BP parts. IMMBB parts. And that will bring up body parts for you to choose to actually drag and put on your character. And there's an ear right there.
Yeah, but wouldn't they learn more if I did model from scratch?
Well, yeah, you can just take that ear and just go from that. It's just a basic ear. So you can just go from that and make your time faster. Just saying.
How do you use it?
Well, just you click on it.
I did.
Okay, and then drag it. Drag on your character.
It's not doing
and it should make a subtool.
It's
That's
not doing
weird. Instead of right clicking, oh, that's weird. Let's see. The mesh is composed of multiple subdivision levels. You have to freeze your mesh. Is that the deal? I got to freeze the mesh.
Well, while you do that, I'll just sculpt here.
Yeah. Do what you want.
I'm not going to go super detailed on it, but
you can do anything you want. It's your presentation.
Well, I have limited time, so.
That's why you use the ear.
Well, it's like if somebody is hungry, do you give them a fish or do you teach them how to fish?
Well, give them the fish first, then teach them how to fish. Or else he's going to starve to death, and he's not going to be able to fish.
Having him be hungry is incentive for him to learn how to fish real well.
Not necessarily because they're hungry. They may not have the energy to fish.
Okay, you and your metaphors, man.
Well, you started it. You're like a bratty little brother. You started, and then you blame the big brother that they actually hit you.
I started with a very simple metaphor, and you had to add all these loopholes.
Well, that ear is coming along. Of course, it doesn't have to be a human ear. You can do like a Vulcan ear. You can do any ear you like.
Go away. Ugh. I know what it's doing that. Okay, that's fixed.
Yeah, my subdivision level is too high.
I don't know if we'll have time, but I was thinking I could bring this into Lightwave and show some start of Reeve topology.
You could.
Oops. There we go. Damn standard.
It looks like it's just going to be us two today.
Maybe.
In fact, here, I'm going to, if anybody here would like to share, I'm going to go ahead and put the StreamYard link down here for everyone's convenience.
So I guess I'll just merge this into the model now after I mirror it. Let's see. Is it in Subtool? Duplicate. I'll just do it here. Mirror. There we go. Merge down. Yep. I think these need to come out further, just a little bit further. So before I merge it, I'll do that. I don't think I need symmetry on this one. Yeah, I started, this is a new subtool, so even though there was symmetry on the guy, there wasn't symmetry on the ears. See how that looks now? That's looking a little better. Don't forget we have, well, many of us have hair, so it kind of disguises how big the ears really stick out. I myself had surgery to make my ears not stick out so much.
You had surgery?
Yep. Elective surgery on my ears.
Really?
Because they stuck way out there, like Barack Obama. And
now, is that why we don't see you on the cam?
No, they look good now.
You should turn on your cam.
Well, I don't own a cam.
Oh, really?
I have a video camera, but I don't have a webcam.
You can use your video camera.
I don't know how to do that. I've never tried that. Let's see. There's something. They're looking a little. What's that guy's name from Harry Potter?
Oh yeah, the elf looking guy.
Dobbin or something.
I forget.
I've never seen it. There we go. Okay, I think we can merge them now.
Persons 2018 would have been cheaper to just wear a hat. That's right. Save on the budget, man.
Okay, so I'm gonna take these eyes and move up one. I thought that would move them up one. All right, maybe I'll move this down one.
So Persons 2018 is here. Welcome. So I'm going to put the chat for joining into StreamYard Live for your convenience. Once again.
Oh, that's select up. How do you move it up? Okay, here it is. Move up. All right, there we go. So now I'll merge down. All right, there we go. Now when I do a Dynamesh, it'll blend these together.
There we go.
Just hope it's not too low resolution now. No, that's good. I can smooth that out.
I'm going to smooth it on in there.
We're going to smooth it on up to the east side.
So you might want to explain to everybody how you're smoothing it.
It's just the shift button.
Right.
Notice that when I hold the shift button, it makes this icon change. See, click, 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 click. And same thing with the mask. So actually what you can do is when you're holding this down, like shift, you can click here and choose what your shift button does. Although I don't know why I'm getting some graphical errors. I think it's because my resolution is too low.
I have to agree with Persons 2018. You could have bought a real Wacom.
This is a Wacom.
No,
disgustingly ugly logo on it.
Not the kitty one.
Would that make a difference in my output? I don't think so.
Nope.
Would it make me a better artist?
Oh, it'll make it more enjoyable to becoming a better artist.
I know. I'm telling you, I'm in misery here.
You just don't know it yet. It's like the
As
frog.
I said before, I've had an Intuos and I've had a Bamboo, and they're both good.
I think what Parsons and I are saying is that resistance is futile. Hey, have you seen the new Picard episodes?
No, I don't have that. I don't watch that.
You don't watch that? Why not? It's not
Well,
really.
first of all, you got to pay for it, but second of all, it's. I mean, watch Red Letter Media's talking about the Picard show. It's such a departure from the classic shows.
Well, I like the Q in this one.
Oh yeah, I saw him come in and they use some de-aging briefly, some deep fake to make him
Yeah.
look young for just like 20 seconds, and then poof, he's back to normal to save money.
So Persons 2018 says he's waiting for Halo. Yeah, I've been hearing about Halo coming out for the longest time, but haven't seen anything yet. I hope they do a good job on it.
I hear that the people who made the show never actually played the game, so I'm not too optimistic on it.
Well,
Typical Hollywood thing.
yeah.
All right, I think this is sufficient just to move on to some retopology. We don't have to. I mean, I can go real detailed in there, but it would just be like a waste of time. So it looks pretty good. I mean, there's a bit of a. All right, I'm gonna deal with this. His forehead is.
Gonna squish his head.
All right. That's. I mean, there's still some weirdness there, but I think we should move on to retopology.
Yeah, that will be interesting to see.
All right, let's merge down. Export this as an OBJ. Okay.
So David Glenn, I missed this one up here, I think. Let me go back up here. Let me find this comment. I think it's further down the list here.
Okay. I get rid of my tablet now that I need my keyboard.
Yeah, that David, that IMM character stuff is great. It kind of cuts back on the time. You don't have to model everything from scratch. They've got the IMM's got the eyes and the nose and the ears and lips and all types of stuff in there. So and then a lot of artists use those tools as well. Could you Carm, could you maximize light wave because it's real teeny in your screen?
Yeah.
There
Okay.
There we go.
Use some. Let's get rid of this grid here. I'm gonna use lightweight brush So you can see I have Lightwave brushes tools all down the side here in the Lightwave brush tab. And now when you're doing retopology,
Is that default, the Lightwave brush tab, or did you set that up?
I set this all up here. Yeah.
Okay. You might just for those who weren't aware that Lightwave can do sculpting, you might explain what these tools are.
Well, Lightwave Brush is if you go to thirdpowers.com, it's just a suite of plugins that you can buy. They're a little more expensive than typical plugins, but they're very, very high quality. I mean, in my opinion, Lightwave Brush is like buying a Lightwave upgrade. It changes modeler that much. But when you're working with high polygon models like this, it can get a little sluggish. So what I like to do is take a chunk like this, copy, paste, put that in a separate layer, and just work on a section at a time. So we go to topology right here. And when you look at it like this, it just looks like a messy grid, but when you rotate it a bit, you can get some of that. You can see where things are more. So you just draw like that. Okay, now I'm going to use a texture wire, and okay, that's good. I got a white wire. If you need to change what color, you just go here to refine and choose sketch color. So you could change it to something that pops out against the black, because the background is always going to have a black grid, black lines. So the other thing I use a lot in retopology is extend. And you hit the N key and you say use background mesh. So basically it's dragging the point along the surface of the geometry in the background. So it's really nice for fine tuning. So you notice when I drag here, you can see where the gap kind of shifts from one side to the other. So you just move it where it's pretty much equal on both sides, so you know you got it in the middle. Everybody see that? As I drag up and down.
Right.
So just put it like right in the middle. And Parsons, that is because I am old school. So I'm going to want another cross section here. So I'm going to say add points. So if I select the edge here and I hit F11, I mean, that's not how it is default, but that's how I have set F11 select loop. So I could go to extend and just jostle these points a little bit so they pop on the surface. But another thing you can do is use background conform, and that will pop them to the surface, just basically moving them to the nearest point in the background. But background conform does not come standard in Lightwave. It comes with it, but it does not come installed. They call it a legacy plugin. I don't know why, because I use it all the time, but I guess they decided it's so old that nobody's going to use it anymore, but I use it free all the time. So what you want to do is you go into the plugins folder, and you'll see a legacy folder, and then you'll see sphereize.p, and sphereize.p will contain BG Conform. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's where they have it. I'm just going to do a little fine tuning here.
And I understand that Blender has some great topology tools that'll work real well with Lightwave as well. I'll have to look that up.
All right. So when I hit, when I hit F9, you can see it. It's certainly smoothing everything out, but it looks very undefined. You don't get that crease on the eye. Now, really, when you're looking at his eye, I don't know if I can zoom in.
I guess David Glenn has a question. I guess he's curious about the version number that you're using in Lightwave.
2020. Is that what he's talking about? Lightwave 2020?
I think. I'm not sure. Glenn, is that correct?
I mean, my menus are all customized. They're far and away from standard. So basically, what we don't have are these nice creases on the eyelid there. So you can't just. I mean, you could, I suppose, but I always model for animation, and so if you just simply model a crease, it's not going to look so good when he tries to close his eyes. So I try to give an actual inside to the eyelid. You'll see what I mean in a moment.
No, it was a comment. Well, what comment about what? What was the comment about?
Maybe he was just being snarky.
I guess so.
So I'm going to select these points along where this crease is going to be.
Oh, I see. They are colorful. I guess he's looking at your interfaces. So
she's looking at the color scheme, yeah.
Yeah, so color scheme is throwing them off so much. But it must be some old version of Lightwave, because he thought you were old school.
I wish I could give these buttons up here different colors. I would love that, because I got so many of them. You know, it doesn't spell out the whole word, so it'd be great if I could like color code them. Anyway, so I got these points selected here. I'm gonna say unweld, and now I'm gonna select these polygons, hide unselected, and then merge, and then unhide, and then hide these guys, and then say merge again. So what I did basically is all these points along this lane here they're unwelded, except they are welded to each neighboring polygon along this way, just not welded this way. So I can go in here and manually, and this is where you can't really use your retopology tools here. You have to just do it manually. So you can see how soft that is. Carm, maybe you could use a screen resolution higher than 640 by 40. I'm using 1280 by 720. I know he's being sarcastic. I could do the hide thing, but instead I've selected these 2 points, and I'm going to hit I, and I'll pick one and say deselect. So now I'm always have one selected here.
So Parsons 2018, do you want to come on and share? I'll put the link for StreamYard in here.
I think you'd rather just give out snarky comments from the peanut gallery.
That's all right. We're all family here. Cool. All right. So I just posted the link for anyone who wants to come on live to share. Jump on the link and make sure your webcam and your microphone is functional. We have Carm 3D on currently. He's our in-house character and character animation expert.
Okay. So now I could give some more.
All right. So David Glenn has a question. Where can he find the Lightwave brush?
Thirdpowers.com.
All right. So I'll put the link in there, thirdpowers.com. Let me go find it real quick.
I highly recommend it. Unless you want to stop using Lightwave, use Blender or something stupid like that.
All right, I've got the link here that'll take you to the store of thirdpowers.com. Give me a hot moment. I'll type it in here.
It looks like I had some duplicate. Oh, okay. I see. I selected that edge by accident. All right.
You're welcome, David Glenn.
All right, so I selected the upper edge here. I'm going to hit E for extend and then move, and I'm going to move that down there. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge these two. But what I'll do is, well, I guess there's only a few of them. Well, I'll show you this trick because, you know, you might be in a situation where you have more than just a few. So I'm going to select all this stuff here. And I'm going to expand my selection by 1. So that's selecting like all the lower chunks there. I'm going to cut that, paste it into a new layer, make the other layer visible. And so if I select all these points and use background conform again, and that moved them right in there. So if I take these polygons, cut, paste, and merge the points, everything should be now merged and all of a nice crease there. The only thing, I still have a hole. I'll just manually fill it in.
It's a pill.
I'm going to give this one more. I'm going to double up that line. I'm not going to give it a crease, but I'm just going to give it one more section of more polygons because that'll help it blend more. Split. Add points. There, see what that looks like. Oh, I think these might be backwards. Flip. There we go. That looks just about perfect there. Isn't that nice? Now there's another thing we want to do. You can see, of course, you got the eyeballs here. And so these, I can't get any closer. Well, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can't get any closer in this picture. There is a bit of a crease there that we don't have because it's not enough definition here. So I'm going to add some more. Oh wait, I'll just use a bandsaw. This is also part of my Zbrush. And now you can see I have more of a crease. So I can keep doing this unless anybody else wants to jump in.
Oh, we're going to be taking a break here pretty soon.
Okay.
And we'll come back. It looks like it may be you and I today. Because our regular presenters are here, but they're just watching today.
Maybe they're just enraptured by my skill.
No big deal. We understand. And I'll share a little bit of, after you, I'll share a little bit of what I'm doing in ZBrush, as well as some Blender techniques.
I'm just using extend here. When you drag 2 points that are open next to each other, they automatically snap together, which is fantastic. They really had retopology in mind when they made that tool.
And I'm going to research out now. I haven't been playing with retopology yet in Blender, but I know that the retopology tools in Blender are supposed to be absolutely outstanding and super easy and fast to use.
So you could see the difference, from the raw geometry to it's just so much more clean. I guess I'll seal his eye up, make the lower part. Typically, when I do character models, I don't make the geometry this dense everywhere. It's just along the eyes, because you need all those polygons for wrapping those eyelids around the eye as it closes and opens and stuff like that. Let's bring the eye in there. So I brought the eye in for reference. So when you got to be careful when you drag, and you don't drag these things on the actual eyeball. You can see where it lifts off like that, and then you know you're over the eyeball. So just right there in the corner. I gotta bring this chat. I haven't been looking at the chat. Okay. Mostly I've been studying OpenEXR, David says. Has anyone tried VR Field in Blender?
Not yet, David. But I'm going to be exploring that as well pretty soon. Oh, that would be a cool little thing to do. So you've got what's it, 20? You got about 5 minutes.
All right. I won't have time to finish the eye, but maybe I can just join up the outer side here. I'll just make one big polygon here, like so. Add a point. Use extend and just drag this out over here. Oops. I'm going to bring the other two to the front just so I can see where this is supposed to go more clearly. Looks like right there. I hope you washed your hands.
You heard that?
Yeah.
This microphone is supposed to block out that background noise.
It enhanced it.
So David Glenn says he's been playing around with it a bit. I haven't used it in a project yet. So I'm assuming he's talking about the VR tools. Yeah, VR tools are huge on the list for Blender. They're huge on the Blender list. So and when we come back from break, I'll definitely be showing some Blender techniques.
Yeah, there are times where I don't bother with the extend tool to match the surface, and I just manually do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think. Like this cat here. Oh, that's the raw version. I guess I don't have it handy. I was retopologizing it. I was going to show you where I did the nose, but anyway. So this crease, it comes down, almost meets the corner of the eye, but I don't think we'll have time for that. and you can see that the skin is pushed in further, so I need another cross section here. But once again, we're out of time. So, I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah, well, that's great. I love it. Maybe you can do like a completed version on your own, and then and show us the next time we come on how it what the results.
I'd say unlikely because I'm busy with other projects.
I get you. No worries. Okay, so we're gonna do a 15-minute break. Thank you, Carm. Wonderful, but stay on, Carm. So I'll probably have, people gonna have questions and just to have you there, come back a little bit later if we have time.
Well, if
So
nobody else wants to show up, maybe you'll give me a second session, or I'll just continue.
yeah, absolutely. So I'll definitely give you a second session if we have time. When we come back from break, I'll show a few things, and then if I get down early enough, we'll bring you back on board.
Okay.
So stay tuned. Thank you everybody for being here. Stay tuned. We'll be
Thank
back.
you.
We will be back. Thanks, Dave. Great. Hopefully, this stuff is really is educational and kind of worth it for you guys. So, and again, chime in on the chat box. Tell us what you would like to see, and we'll try to bring some of that stuff to fruition here. So let's do a 5-minute break. So I am going to let me go ahead and stop my initial stream, and let's add a new share screen, and let's share this one over here. Okay, cool. That'll be the last one right over here. So 15-minute timer. Okay, there we go. All right, so 15 minutes. We'll be back. There we go. All right, bathroom break, snack break, all that stuff, and we'll be right back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute my microphone until we come back.
Okay.
Okay, we are back. I'm going to, let's see, I want to remove that screen. I want to share a different screen this time. Here, let's go ahead and share my first screen. Okay, so we're back after break here at the Lightwave 3D Integration Roundtable. Let's go ahead and share the right screen for me here. And let me stop screen share and share again. There we go. All right, cool. All right, here we go. Let's see. All right, we're back. Oh, man. Okay, so that 15-minute break helps. Wait, is Paint Tool and Lightwave 2020? I don't think there is. And Paint Tool, wait a minute, maybe there is. All right, so I think Lightwave Brush is a must tool for Lightwave. I agree, totally agree. For Lightwave users, and here's this is one of the advantages of Blender coming along right now, because all those tools that Lightwave lacks, Blender's going to have, and Blender will integrate very well with Lightwave. So a lot of the Lightwave users right now is currently learning Blender, believe it or not. The Paint tool as well. What is let's see, I think it was Ruscular. I made a comment about, is there a Paint tool in Lightwave 2020? Let's see, and Cage Deformer, a MetaMesh are good too. Yeah, I agree. Cage Deformer in also in Blender is quite nice. I kind of like the functionality of the one in Lightwave a lot better personally. So, so cool. All right, cool. So now we're going to kind of get back on track. So Carm is still here.
Hi.
All right. I definitely want to share what I've been working on in ZBrush, and I'll do that a little bit later. But I figured it'd be a kind of good idea to wrap our head around some Blender functionality as well. I'll give you a quick little sneak peek at what I'm doing in Blender real fast. I'm not Blender, but ZBrush very quickly here. So here is my character. And I am still in the kind of the beginning stages of it. I'm currently starting to figure out how I want the skin to look. Actually, let me go back and show you the full character. All right, so right now I'm in a process of detailing out the skin detail, but just more of the muscles and the basic form is all there. And what we'll come back and we'll kind of take a look at that a little bit later. All right, so let's go play. Let's go back into Blender, and let's go play with it. So I think Steve White kind of showed this in an earlier presentation. I figured it might be, well worth it to kind of, get back, kind of explain it in a little more detail. And it's this revolve tool, or basically, duplicating objects in a circular manner and in rotational manner around everything. And I'm just absolutely loving this functionality inside of Blender. Let's see some comments here. So the face kind of looks like me. Hold on a second. Yeah, I used a portrait of myself on this one. I did. I have to admit it. So I used the likeness of my face to integrate with the character, because I figured I can picture myself with abs. If I had abs, that's what they'll look like. So let's play around. Let's just go have some fun in Blender. I'm gonna start with a blank canvas here. So new, go to general, don't save anything. I figured we'll just kind of create something real quick and kind of show the workflow for creating multiples in a circular fashion inside of Blender. And again, if you guys have questions, just jump on in, ask questions. I'll keep my eye on here, um, on the questions here to get so we get a little bit of a dialogue going. Um, I tell you what, let's go over to let's add a mesh. So in Blender, our Shift A is going to be our shortcut for accessing our 3D tools. And I'm going to come right over here to the mesh, which is going to be where my 3D primitives will lie. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab a cylinder. Now automatically right over here, and I'm working on a Wacom Cintiq 24, so I'm actually drawing right on the monitor. Just kind of mentioning that to Carm.
Mm-hmm.
Carm is listening. Oops, let's take this off here. I got this little notation sitting up there in front of everybody. And I've got 32 vertices here. I'm going to change it to like 24. All right.
Got a question.
Yeah, go for it.
What do you do with that tablet / monitor when you're not painting?
When I'm not, I use it for everything. I mean, even for web searching, because my Cintiq it also has touch, so I can use my hands to
You have it on your lap or something?
Well, no, it's an Ergotron arm attached to it, and the arm is connected to my desktop. So here, I'll tell you what. I'll turn the
You can reposition it.
Yeah, here I'll share it with you. So I'm going to turn it around so everybody can see. Okay, so that's my monitor, and you can see. I'm going to let this stand up. You can see the arm attached to it. So ignore my messy desk, but you can see the arm. You go in the back. Everything's attached to it, so that my keyboard is independent. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Fancy.
Right. It's fancy. It's very, very nice. So I'm going to do a little bit of a presentation. Well, I'm going to do a bit of not a review, but a little presentation on utilizing the Wacom Cintiq on for YouTube pretty soon. So I'll send that out to everybody too. All right. So let's see any questions here. A desk. Exactly. My messy desk. It's a tidy desk. Okay. No, it is not tidy. Though it will be soon. I trust me. It will be soon.
Mine's messy too.
Exactly. All right, let me go back and share our screen. Okay, cool. All right, so let's just pull something together. So I think I want to do 24. So I'm going with 24 sides in Blender, if I've got that correct. Okay. If I get in close, okay, that's what I've got here. So I've got my cylinder. Now, just like in Maya, we've got our two modes. We got our object mode, and let's see. Somebody's got another question here. What I'm thinking about. So the Ergotron is nice to be able to push back the mod. Yeah, it's true. I mean, I can stand up. You know, the Ergotron is designed where I can just stand it straight on up, and I can stand up and draw and paint while standing, which is actually kind of a nicer way to work from time to time. So it might be a good choice for losing weight as well. Okay, so let's go, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to resize my cylinder. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to go Command. Well, I'm going to hit the S. We're going to come right over here. I've got my transform tool selected, and you see, and I like to use my 3D widgets. I'm going to just bring that straight on down, like so. All right, and I'm using the same navigational keys to navigate around as I'm using inside of Lightwave. All right, so if you're not yet aware that in Blender, you can tell Blender to utilize the same workflow navigations. If we come over here to our edit menu and we go to our preferences, and if I go to the navigation right over here to the left-hand side, there should be a, let's see, where is it? Is it under navigation or is it under input? It's under input. There we go. Okay, so right above navigation, under input, we've got emulated 3-button mouse there. So that's what you want to make sure you select for Lightwave users. So if you select that, it's going to give you the same navigational workflow as in Lightwave. So Ruscular, we got Tim Parsons is now chiming in.
Yeah, I thought I'd chime in just to bug Karim on his small monitor screen.
We can always use a little heckling. It makes things a lot more interesting.
You didn't have to say that.
So, who was the one? I think who was the heckler? It was we're missing one of our regulars here. I'm gonna have to call him and bug him to get back involved. But anyways, as I was saying, if we go to our input tab and we select our 3-button mouse, that's going to make all your navigational command matching Lightwave. So Alt Control or Command and Alt or Option selected, and dragging up and down allows you to zoom in and out. Alt by itself allows you to rotate, and then Shift and Alt or Option allows you to pan. Okay.
You can also change that dragging up and down to sideways if you want.
That's true.
Like it is in Lightwave.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it's there. So it can, you can do whatever you like. All right. So let me go ahead. I'm going to also just take my screen mode so everybody can make that full screen. All right, so we're going to go playing here. I'm going to just create something. I'm just using my imagination. I'm going to do something kind of relative to the tutorial. I'm going to make another disk. And I think what I'll do is I will come over here and grab another mesh. Let's go ahead and go to a cylinder. I'm going to take the S key. I'm going to bring this down a little bit. I'm going to just move this on over. I'm using my transform tool. I can use the G key and then restrict it to accesses by hitting the G key and hitting the X key. But to me, it was just faster just to grab it right here, utilizing the transform widget. And it's just my personal way of working. Everybody's got their own way, evidently, in Blender, but that's just, I like the hand and eye connection. Now, if I hit the period key on the numeric side, I can zoom in to the selected object. I'm going to modify this just a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and stretch this up. So we have to make sure that, especially if we're modeling, we're going to make sure that everything's set to a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio. If I'm in my items tab, let's go up here. Is it up here at the top, transform? Let me see if I can find it. Everything's kind of all messed up here and truncated. Okay. Currently, my dimensions or my scale is not 1-to-1-to-1. So I always want to make sure that's the case. And because I was using the scale option, I can, if I hit Command A, I can reset my scale to 1-to-1-to-1. So if you think of this, the way I like to explain it is it's like a quantum universe. So inside the quantum universe, it can be as large or as small as you want. But outside the quantum universe, in our reality, everything has to be 1-to-1-to-1. And to set that correctly, Command A, I can commit those changes to a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio. So since I did scaling, I'll hit the scale, and you'll notice that not only does everything go back to 1-to-1-to-1, but my rotational point or my 3D cursor point stays in the center of my object. If I, for instance, had told this to reset everything, Command A, and then hit all transformations, like so, you'll notice that your 3D um, um, point. So in other words, if I go to world, my origin, my 3D origin, it's set to the world origin. If I want this set back to my cube, my cylinder, I'm going to right click, go to my set origin, and then tell that cursor to origin. Actually, I want to do block him totally. So set origin to geometry, right? So if I click it, it automatically resets it back to zero. So just keep that in mind when you're working in Blender. There's so many different ways to use rotational points. You can use different objects to rotate around. You can use this 3D cursor. You can change the location of the physical center of your 3D object as well. So that's kind of nice. It's frustrating at first to wrap your head around, but I find it actually quite nice. So let's rotate this object. I'm in X-ray view, so you can kind of see everything around here. Now I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to go over here to take off X-ray view so we can see it as a solid object. And I'm going to modify some things. I'm going to give it kind of a different type of a look here. So I'm going to target this cylinder. Now I have not reset that to a 1:1:1, I don't believe. Yeah, if you look right here under the scale, it's 1:1 to 0.08. Right? I'm going to reset that one. So Shift A, and I'm going to reset. It's not Shift A. I'm sorry. Command A, Command or Control A. I'm going to reset the scale, and now everything is set 1:1:1. Now I can model. If I don't do this, by the way, and I go in and start modeling, my modeling, the results of me insetting and scaling and extruding, it's going to match the ratio of this scale, and it's not going to look the way as you might expect it. So just kind of be aware of that. So I'm gonna select this here. Let's go ahead and hit the tab key and get into editing mode. Okay. And I want to edit this to kind of give it some detail, make it look kind of fancy. So I'm going to select the polygon on the top. I'm going to set this polygon on the bottom. I'm making sure that the number 3 key on my keyboard is selected. 3 key is your polygon, your face selecting mode. The number 2 key on your keyboard. And these are the numeric keys that's right above your letter keys, right on the top left-hand corner. So the number 2 key is your edge editing, and the number 1 key is your point editing. So with both faces selected, I'm gonna hit the I for inset, and I'm gonna let the mouse hover. Well, I'm using my stylus, right? So I'm letting the stylus hover above, and then when I tap down and click it, it sets it. So now what I like to do is I want to extrude both of these out in their along their normals, which the top normal is pointing up and the bottom normal is actually pointing down, right? If you're confused as to where your normals are, a quick and easy way to determine is if you come up. Let me come up to here. I think it's up here, and let's see, normals. Oh, where is it?
Face orientation, I think.
Yes, face orientation. Is it? I'm in the right menu.
Go up.
Go up. There it is, right in front of me, right there, dead center. So if I select it, anything that's in blue means everything's facing out toward you. So if your entire object is in blue, then you're good, right? You're good. I think if I go to let's see, it's my mesh, and let me see, normals and flip. Now in Lightwave, it's just the F key, right? That's kind of nice. I hate this part of Blender, where I have to go through a menu system to get to my normals to flip them. So if I flip that normal, this is now in red.
You can go through the menus to flip if you want. It gives you the option.
Well, yeah, I don't want to go to the menus and flip. But of course, I can set this, for any shortcut that I want. So if you want to set it to something like what you have in lightweight, you're welcome to do that. So if I go back to my mesh, I go back to my normals. If I go back to flip, oh, I hit the wrong thing, right? So I want to select that. Now I want to select that one. Now I will go back to my mesh and go to my normals and go to flip, and now it's in blue. So if everything's in blue, that means you're good. You're good to go. All right, so let's go back to here and let's go to my face orientation right dead center and click it, and now we get to go back to our standard view. Let's go have some fun. All right, I'm going to select that center portion. I'm going to select this center portion. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude this out a little bit. So on the left-hand side, I've got this button over here. It's dead center. It's going to allow me to extrude along normals. Basically called the extrude along normals button. So if I click and hold, I get some options. I can extrude region, manifold, along normals, and extrude individuals, extrude to cursor. I'm going to want to extrude along the normals. Okay, so let's see. Did I accidentally deselect this? I did. So I'm going to select this one, shift select that one. Okay. And if I make sure I'm extruding along the normals and just click and drag it, there you go. Right? It's extruding straight out along those normals, which is kind of nice. So I'm going to take it we'll leave it right about there. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go to my transform. I'm going to hit the I key, right? I key for inset, and I'm going to inset it in, and then tap and release to, or click and release to commit my changes. And as you can see, both top and bottom. Now I want to actually create a hole in here. I'm going to create a hole in here, and I love the loop tools. Now the loop tools aren't on by default. If I right click, I have this loop tool menu here. It's not on by default. You have to go turn it on. So under your edit menu, go to your preferences and then go to your add-ons. So this is your like plugins, obviously plugins in Lightwave, right? This is how we add them all in there. So if I go to my search, just put in LO or LOOP, and there it is, mesh loop tools. Make sure that's turned on. Okay. So if anybody here is new to Blender, just be aware Blender is free and is outstanding. Animation, effects, modeling, compositing program is pretty close to rivaling Maya out there. So I want to create a hole. So I'm going to select that surface. I'm going to target that bottom surface, and I'm going to tell those to the bridge. So we got bridge and Lightwave. I know my shortcuts in Lightwave for bridge was, I think it's set to like Alt Shift B or something like that. But for here, I'm going to right click it. My loop tools menu now shows up. That's after I turned it on. And then if I come over to bridge, it's right there. Now take a look at these other options, flatten, bridge, and all that stuff. That flatten is going to be really handy, especially when you're modeling. We'll get a chance to explore that a little bit later. So if I target the bridge, boom, okay, it bridges the two. They're all together. So that's kind of nice. All right, so I'm going to add maybe a couple other little features here. I'm going to select this loop of polys on this surface. So I hit the number 3 key on the keyboard. If I double click it, I'm going to target that loop. Double click that one to target this loop. And I'm just making up stuff right now just to share some basic modeling features inside of Blender. Hit the I key and drag it in. I'm going to take it to right about there and click it, and the top and bottom should be exactly the same. I want to actually inset this in, kind of etch out a nice little space on this ring. So I'm going to go back and grab that, extrude along the normals once again, grab that little bar there and push up or down, and that will extrude it inwards. All right, I'm going to go back to my transform tool, and there we go. So that's a little more interesting looking. adding a little more detail. So if I wanted those to go deeper, if I so choose, I can always select them again. And since my transform tool option is open, I'm gonna come up here instead of normal. I'm gonna tell it to go to the local view, and you can look at my 3D widget, and everything is reset properly. And if I hit the number 3 key on the numeric side of my keyboard, that automatically shows you the orthographic view from the side. I'm going to want a I think I'm going to give this an X-ray view. I'm going to get in close, right up here at the very top. My little viewing options here. Now I currently have the solid. I'm going to go 2 steps over to X-ray view. I can see the top and bottom of my selected polygons. And if I just take this and resize it to bring it in deeper or up further, I'm going to bring it in deeper. There we go. Now alt click and drag it, get out of X-ray view by clicking the X-ray button again. So I went to a little bit of a deeper grout. That's all. All right, now let's add some modifiers to this little guy. So I'm going to add some bevel because I don't want everything all sharp edges. So everything's going to have a little bit of an edge in here. Let's see. Oh, yes. Oh, Steve's here. Cool. Thank you, Steve. Steve's here. So I'm here. Here, what he's telling me is this. Go to my object view. Z key. Did you say Z key is a shortcut for X-ray? Oh, I'm sorry. Alt Z. My fault. Misreading. All right. Interesting, Steve. My Alt key isn't working. My Alt Z key is not working. Interesting. Let's get out of there. There it is. I was in the wrong viewing mode. Okay, I was in that render mode. Accidentally. There we go. So, all right, that was Steve mentioning Alt Z. Use that Alt Z key. Yo, Steve, good to see ya. What took you so long to get here? You want to jump in? Yeah, I'll give you the link to jump in live. All right, so here we go. I'm going to drop that into Twitch. Okay, cool. There you got it. Anybody else would like to share, you're welcome. Tim's here as well. Everybody came late today. usually you guys are in within the first 30 minutes or hour, and everybody came like after the what, first hour and a half. It's one of those lazy little Sundays. All right. Okay. So I'm now in my object mode. And I'm going to add modifiers. Modifiers work with objects. Okay. So I'm in the object editing mode. So right over here on the right-hand side, I've got my little blue gear there for my modifier. And now I can come in here and add beveled edges because I don't want this to have a nice hard edge, because nothing in life is really a solid edge. It's always some surface. It's just a surface variations. So we're going to give this a little bit of an edge, but I want to give everything an edge at one time. So that's the beauty of these modifiers, is that they not only are non-destructive, but it will apply everything globally. So if I come over here to the very top, it's all in alphabetical order under the generate tab, and we just click that little bevel button, and immediately we can see our bevel. And I've got an extreme bevel being applied here, which might not be a concept for a space station or something. Okay, I won't get distracted. So if I come over to the amount over here on the right hand side, here's my little panel. Let's see, do I also have it here? If I click, I'm already there. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see, tools, under the tools. Everything gets truncated in here. Maybe Steve, you have a solution for that. How to if I want to just see the entire text. Maybe I can't. Maybe I got too much stuff in there. But anyways, over here to the amount, I can adjust the amount of the bevel. So here, see, So I want to take it to probably right about there. Under the segment, I can go to maybe 4. It's usually a nice little rounded number to kind of, give that nice little circular edge there. Okay. Now, if I really want this to be smooth, I have the option to add a subdivision surface to this, right? So that too can be a modifier. So I just click this little triangle on the left hand side just to cascade it up so I can see everything a lot easier. Let's see, Ruscular. I'm looking at questions here. Let's see. All of our pets are okay. They're talking about something totally different, non-light wave related, of course. Yeah, install many add-ons. Okay, you don't install so many add-ons. Yeah. I think what Steve is saying, in installing a lot of add-ons, it taxes your memory a little bit, or also messes up with your real estate of your interface. All right, drink some water here. All right, let's have some fun. What more can we do with this? Well, we can do a lot more. Here, let's go back into editing mode, hit this tab key. I've got this set up so that I get this menu in my edit mode. Actually, it was a suggestion by Steve White, and I like it. So I've been utilizing it ever since. So I'm gonna go back to my edit mode, and I get to see my edges. And now if I wanted to add a little more detail, for example, if I use my mouse, place it right here, hit Command or Control R, I can add additional loops. All right. And then from here, just roll the scroll wheel and I can add additional edges. So I'm going to left click to commit those, the amount of edges, and then left click again to commit the whole piece. Now I can do the same thing down here on the bottom. So Command R, and then roll the wheel once, left click and left click again. All right. Now, if I hit the number 3 key on the keyboard, double click it, it'll select that ring of loops automatically. If I come to the other side, hold the Shift key and double click it, it now will select that ring of loops. And I can either extrude that up or down. So I'll come right over here and go to my extrude along. See, I lost it again. I hate it when I do that.
Hey, that's one area where I'm struggling with. How do you get the exact same spacing on that top loop or on the bottom loop as you did on the top?
Utilizing the scroll wheel. It will, because this shape is symmetrical, and it's what it does is it sets the loop dead center.
Oh, okay.
And then divides it equally going out.
What if you use a Wacom? What is it? There's no scroll wheel. What do you do?
Then what you do is this. I'll do it right now. Let me go back. Let me stop this. Let me go back. Undo, 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 undo. Come on. There we go. Got it. All right. Go to edit. So I'm using a Wacom pen now. So here, I'll just all right. So I'm using my Wacom pen. I'm not going to use the mouse.
Okay.
So if I get in close, Command R. So wherever your mouse touches, the technique is going to be applied perpendicular to the edge that you're touching.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So when I go to here, look at where it sets itself, dead center.
Yep.
No matter what, I click it, and then I click it again to commit it. If I want the 2 edges, like I just shown you with the mouse wheel, come over here, right there in the panel. And
say you're doing, edge loops for a sub D, and you want to tighten up some of those, creases.
Oh, we're getting there.
So, with Lightwave, you had that Bandsaw Pro, and you could just set it, and each time you activated the tool, it just remembered where you were, and it, did the exact same slice.
Right.
How do you replicate the exact same slice on multiple selection sets?
Well, okay. I think this next technique will answer your question. I'm not sure, but I'll do it anyway.
Okay.
I'm done. All right, let me get this back to home view. Okay, let's go down to the bottom and do the same thing. So command R, tap and release, and then tap again, and it should automatically replicate it exactly. So whatever you apply before it, all it this particular tool, it divides your polys directly in half and keeps everything proportional, equally divided. That's what this particular tool does.
Yeah, but you can control where that is. You don't have to make it,
Well,
perfectly
yes,
centered.
yes, you can. I'll show you again. Watch. Command R, click once. Now
Yeah,
let my listen to me. Let my walking pin hover above and look.
yeah, okay,
I can drag it manually wherever I want it to go.
okay. And
Now,
then,
once I get it to where I want it, I will click again, and that will set it.
okay,
If I want more than one, I come over here. Now, here's the trick: is you if you're going to make any changes, you got to make them now, because once you set these changes and I tap anywhere on the screen, they're gone. You can't get them back.
okay. What about, mirroring it from one side to the other? Say you're doing an edge loop and you want to make a crease.
Okay,
You get the one side just right and you just want to mirror
so
it over to the other one.
let's talk in this fashion. Let's say I want one side to be mirrored exactly as the other side, no questions asked. Okay, we're going to use a different technique. All right, and let's actually do it. Let me go back to my object mode. I'm going to keep that object, but right up here on my scene editor, I'm going to just turn it off visually. Okay. Or another way I can do it is select that object, the other object next to it, Command I for select inverse, and then H for hide. That's usually a faster way of doing it. Now we're gonna recreate this, but we're gonna make sure everything is gonna be symmetrical to each side. So Shift A, come over here, go grab my cylinder. Okay, there's my cylinder again. I'm gonna make it large. It's about where I want it to be, but I'm gonna come over here to the side view, number 3 key on the keyboard. I'm gonna go to my X-ray view so I can see everything that's going on, and just stretch it down like I had before. Okay, stretch it about that thin. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come right up here. I'm going to pull this on up right there above that green line, right about like so. And okay, so now once done, I'm going to hit Command A and set my scale. Okay, so everything is going to be my 1:1:1. All right, now I want everything symmetrical, no questions asked. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to take this. Let's go into edit mode. I'll get out of X-ray view here, and I'm going to go ahead also and maximize the screen so it's easier for everybody to see my desktop. I'm going to go into edit mode, and I want everything to be mirrored on that Z axis. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that everything. I only want to basically what I'm going to end up doing is just modeling half this. Okay, so if I come over to here, I'm going to just make sure that this is going to be sitting right on that axis. So if I hit the number 3 key, it looks pretty close already. Now I could set the scale right, and now hit the Z key on the keyboard. That's telling it to set to the Z axis. Then hit the number 0 on the keyboard, which means set it to the 0 at numerical location 0, and click it. Oh, you know what I did? I had local view over here. Now look at my transform options. I had local view. I don't want local view, so I'm going to undo that. Right, Command Z. I'm going to do it again, but this time I'm going to select global view for the world 0 axis or world axis view. So now I'm going to go to S key for scale, Z key to restrict to the. Make sure I have this right. I'm going to go over here, do it this way here. I'm going to turn it around and make sure that bottom is selected correctly. There we go. Now we can do it right. So here, I'll pull it up a little bit just so you can see so I can make my point. So that's just a little bit above the zero z-axis surface. So S for scale, okay? Scale only on the z-axis. Hit the 0 key. Done. Okay, did it reset itself? What happened? Let me go back to the 3 key. There we go. Now we can see this easier. Let's do it again. So scale on the z-axis, okay, and 0. That's really weird. Why didn't that work?
I think that just changes everything to the.
No, it's right here. For some reason, this isn't changing. There it is. It
There
wasn't
you go.
changing here. It should have changed when I typed in 0. It should have done it automatically, but you got to kind of watch this from time to time. I don't know if it's something I did or if it's a bug, but it works now. Okay, so now I'm all done, ready to go. If you want to, I'm going to just delete that face. Okay, and I'm going to delete the faces completely, so that when I mirror this is going to be one airtight space. It's not going to have a poly in between. Okay, here we go. Let's go back to object editing mode. Select that piece. We're going to add a modifier. A little blue gear. Go get the modifier, and we're going to get the mirror modifier underneath the generate tab here. So go get mirror, and we're going to mirror on what axis? We're going to mirror on the z-axis. Okay. Now, I want the z-axis on. Now, what has happened here? It's basing the mirroring effect off of the location of your 3D cursor here. Or not the 3D cursor, but it's mirroring it off of the 3D origin, which is your center point of your object. So a couple ways that I like to handle this is, Steve's coming in. He's going to holler at me. Okay, Steve is here. Hey, Steve.
Hey.
All right. So
I just came in. I have to leave pretty soon. I just wanted to answer Tim's question.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, Tim, there's no way to set, like in Bandsaw Pro or whatever, how you can set it up so that the spans are, further apart, or because you want to make them so they're equally distant apart or whatever, but on the ends of the mesh so that they tighten up, like for sub D and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I can show a quick way here. Can I share my screen real quick?
Let's go for it. Share your screen.
All right. So let me see here. All right. Can you see my screen now?
Go for it.
All right. So let me dissolve these. So basically, when you add an edge loop, if you just scroll, it's just adding edges, but it's not like they're all going to be spaced equally distant apart. So you can't like space them out. But if you have something that's essentially aligned to the world axis, like say we have these two, you can just click it and then click it to set, or actually, let me do that again, because if you just once and then with those still selected, just hit S and Z, and you can oops, not that far apart, but
Okay.
you can scale them along that axis if you want. Like I said, if they're aligned to the world axis. Let me turn off my measurements. Actually, I'm gonna leave them on for a second, because another thing you can do here, if you're really like dead set on getting like exactly spaced apart or whatever, let me dissolve this. So what you could do is you could turn on edge length here in the measurement tools in the viewport, or in the viewport overlays. And now if we just add one, you can hit double G to slide that up. And when you're sliding, it's going to give you the measurement on that line. So you could say, come up here. Okay, I want one that's going to be
Yeah, that's
0.052, and then I come down here, and then I'll just add that edge, bring that down, and I'll hit double G again, and now you can see, I can bring that down, to point 0.52 if we want, or whatever I had it at.
So Steve, question. Your measurements that you have on there, where did you turn those on? What location?
And the viewport overlays here under measurement. You can turn on face area, edge angle, face length.
Got it.
So
Got it.
and you also turn on your normals from here as well. So you can turn on your normals. But the other thing too I was going to say is, like I said, Alt Z is X-ray, and also when you're doing extrusions, if you just select that edge ring and then you hit Alt E, it's going to give you your extrude menus here. So you can just do extrude faces, which is just going to extrude them all at once, or you can do extrude along the normals, which is what you want most of the times. Like there's literally almost nothing that you have to go to the menu for. That's why I say if you're getting into Blender, you really should learn the shortcuts. It just makes everything so much faster. I mean, like I said, I know you like to use the widgets and everything, but I mean, I don't even use the widgets for everything. I just, if I want to move that up, I just, hit G and Z. I can move this. If I want to just select the whole thing and I want to just move it along the ground plane, I can just hit G and SZ. Of course, I think I've got, crap, I think I got symmetry on here or something. So I mean, like I said, there's just, as far as the, unfortunately with the edge loop, there's no way to say, take these and just space them apart,
Yeah, and then repeat it over and over again.
Right. But, like I said, that's where it's nice that Blender has such nice sliding tools. I mean, you can slide points, edges, or polys, really. So just double tap the G, and you can just slide anything you need to down real quickly.
And if that item is real organic, no issues?
Yeah, no, exactly. And like I said, if you really need the measurement, you can get in close, and you can use the edge length tool, and you can get exact measurement if you want. Just hold the Shift key, and you can go in real small increments. So, but yeah, that's probably, I mean, I'm sure someone has an add-on somewhere for it, but as far as native functionality, I mean, you're just limited to, I think that even like hard ops might have something like that. I'm not sure. I mean, I know they have like a dice tool where you can dice everything up, and cut it up too. So, because someone was asking for a Julian tool, because there's a Julian, here, let me create a cube here and say I come in here and just do, I want to, let's see, where was that? Mesh tools. I think it was dice. So I can, use that dice tool and cut that up. And it doesn't, it doesn't have to be a simple primitive. You could use like, an organic mesh too. So like if I just hit this, do dice, I can add divisions in there as well, which is really useful. Like if you're deforming something and you don't have very even topology, you can dice it up and, and use a deformer on it or whatever. So, so, like I said, there's a shortcut for everything, and you really should learn it. Like, if I wanted to, even just adding, modifiers, select it, Control 2. Now my sub D's levels at level 2. A lot of the modifiers don't have shortcuts, but you can just come in here and just right click on one, like say edge split, and just say assign shortcut. If it's something you use a lot, pretty much everything in the menus is like that. So circle select. Some of these things already have shortcuts, but if we right click, we can assign a shortcut, or we can add it to our quick menu. So like say one thing you do a lot is say I'm trying to think of what would be good. You could do I don't know. I think, well, what do I have in my quick menu? I think normally one thing I use a lot is selecting coplanar polys. So, you want to select everything that's facing the same direction. So like, let me add a cube here, and I'll dice this up a little bit, and say we'll move this down. So like I want to select, this is really simple, but I want to select all these polys, but I normally have to come up here to the select menu, go to select similar, and do coplanar, and it'll select all those. But that's one thing that I like to add to the quick menu. So like I think this is my 3.1 install, so I don't have all my stuff set up yet here. But if I go to selection, similar, do coplanar, and just do add to. It's already in my quick menu. So there we go. Quick favorites right there. There we go. Coplanar. So I can very quickly come in and select all my coplanar polys, things like that.
Nice.
So yeah, definitely use shortcuts. What I did when I first started blending, every time I came across a new shortcut, I just had a big sheet of paper on my desk, and I would just start jotting them down. And pretty soon they just became second nature. So everything I do regularly in Blender, I use a shortcut for, and it's just, oh my God, I've never been able to work faster, in an application. And I probably could have done it, if I had used more shortcuts, like when I use Moto and stuff like that. But I think Blender is just more suited to it because of the way the interface is. So you really don't want to go around digging in menus. It's really going to slow you down. So definitely learn the shortcuts, and definitely use the quick menu too. Because if there's something you do all the time, like I do with selecting coplanars, or even if there's you're going to add sub D to everything, go ahead and add it to your quick menu, whatever. So, just suggesting.
Yeah, good.
But yeah, other than that, and like I said, with the, you have to be careful too with the bevel modifier, because it will bevel everything, and a lot of times that's based on angle. So, if you have a irregularly shaped object, it might even bevel these edges too. So I typically, instead of using angle as my limit method, I'll typically go in and add a weight, limiter. So now I can just come in here and if I open up my side panel here and say I select, I want to, bevel maybe these edges here. I can just come in here and add a mean bevel weight, and it's just going to bevel those weights. So, it doesn't have to apply everything globally. Because like I said, if you have some things that are like here, let me change it back to angle, and then say I start, I don't know, let's do this way. If I start dragging this down, it's going to start beveling in some weird places like that. Let me get out of camera view here. It can be dangerous if you're not working with squares. It's going to add. So actually, let me show a better example here. Let's get rid of this here.
So the bevel modifier does not work. It's not always friendly with n-gons.
It works with n-gons, but again, you have to, because I can, if I just had a cube and then say I just select these two edges and I'll subdivide it. So now I have n-gons on either side of that. If I go ahead and add a bevel modifier to that, I'm still going to work. So n-gons don't really matter. It's more just the angle between the edges. So, but let me show you where the bevel modifier can be dangerous here. So if I add a cylinder and then I add a bevel modifier, now it looks fine now, but if depending on the angle of your cylinder, it'll start adding. Let me make a simpler one, because let me see. Do cylinder. It's, I don't know. Let's make 8. So you're doing some low poly modeling or whatever, and you add a bevel. You can see how it's going to bevel each of those edges where you don't really want bevels necessarily. Yeah. So again, this is where I would come in and add a weight, and now I can just say, select.
But you can just change that angle though too, right?
Yeah, you can change the angle too. But again, like I said, if you're modifying that object still, you could change an angle and then you're screwed.
Yeah.
Another one that I like to add is a lot like you don't want, like you can't really select. I don't think you can ring select these top edges. Actually, you can on this case. There's sometimes where you can't select an edge loop just because of the way the geometry is. So a lot of times what you want to do is you want to select the polygons and then just do a boundary selection of that. So you end up with the edges. So if I do select, let's do edge loops and go to boundary loops. And I'll add that to my quick menu while I'm here. And then I select that. You can see, it'll select those. So now that I have that in my quick menu, just select those two polygons, Q, select boundary loops, and now I have those, those edges selected. So
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of useful selection methods up here that you want to use. And so it's easier because you don't want to have to, like, and Steve did this earlier, but if you have a couple things selected and then you start messing around in your menus here, you might end up deselecting that just by clicking on the interface.
Yeah.
And that's where, again, it's useful to be able to use shortcuts because you don't have to mess around with the interface and risk dropping a selection. I mean, but at least in Blender, selections are undoable. So, if you drop a selection, you can just hit Control Z and it'll bring that up. This is inset here, but if you hold down Control, you can actually, extrude that as well. So, you can use that almost like the bevel tool was in Lightwave, where you could extrude and inset at the same time. But yeah, that's all I want to show. Just to answer Tim's question. So,
Oh yeah, that's handy. That's great stuff, man. Thank you.
All right, I gotta take off, but I'll see you guys later.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, bye. All right, very handy. Love it. I was gonna put this stream. Okay, cool. All right, so it's back to what I was doing here. So what I was doing was basically going to mirror this so that you can just do. I think you wanted. I think you probably answered your question better, but I was just going to mirror this little guy here.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah, but what a lot of Blender users are trying to, a lot of what Steve showed you was if you wanted one side to equal another, great shortcuts to do that. Most Blender users are not doing that. They're usually just mirroring it and just doing one side only, and then it mirrors it opposite. Then that way it just guarantees that you're not going to have any problems. So I think I was getting ready to show you. I put in a I didn't add in an empty, so I'm going to add in an empty. So Command A. I'm gonna go add an empty, which is nothing more than a null. There we go, and it should have put it right on the right on the 000 axis. Yep, it did. Okay, and then what I did was I applied a modifier to that particular cylinder. Now, this modifier, it's been applied, it's working. It's that it's basing its technique off of the 3D origin of the object. Okay, what I wanted to do is I wanted to mirror based on the location of the empty. So if I go to my mirror command and right down here where it says mirror object and select this, I can grab my empty from the mirror, from the menu, sorry. And when I click it, there you go. It's mirrored it on the Z axis according to the designation. Now I can go in and do my modeling like I wanted to before. So if I go to my edit mode here, select this, go to inset a little bit. All right, you're not seeing anything happening on the other side. Oops, sorry. But if I hit my E key, pull that on up.
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay. If I hit my I key again, E key for extrude, and then I want that hole in the middle. So then I'm going to hit the I just to do this. And then I'm going to hit delete on my keyboard and delete the faces.
Ooh, what do you do there then?
Okay, so now I'm going to do something a little different than I plan to do. Another modifier to use is this one right up here, which is called solidify. If I target it and see, I can add a, I can make that interior solid.
Gotcha.
All right. All right. So, and now from here, and my intention was um was just to add, was to drop in a bevel, and of course Steve gave us some real good tips on beveling, but it was just to add in a basic bevel so that you can see what bevel does for the overall piece. And I can come back over here and add in my my bevel, my edge amount that I want to bevel. Say I want to do I want a four edge bevel, I can do that as well. If I wanted to add a subdivision surface to smooth it all out, you notice that these bevels are just all stacking up on top of each other. Let me go over here, modifier, and add my subdivision surface. Okay. And now if I come over here to the levels for the viewport, I'm going to give it 3. And then that way you've got your smoothed out looking shape like so. So I was just, you know, just something stupidly simple, just to be aware that I can turn these off and on. A little monitor symbol there, I just turn them off and on to show the effect of the modifier or take away the effect of that modifier. And solidify as well. All right. So sometimes I'll model parts of starships where they're just a single a single mesh. Drink some water here. Where there is a single mesh, and then I'll solidify it. I'll build the basic body of my starship, and because I know that I'm going to 3D print it because I want the interior of the starship to be hollow, then I'll give it that that solidify, and that creates the edges for my starship. So when I 3D print it, I can, you know, I can bevel in or bullion out some windows and stuff around the outside and so forth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, nice.
So, okay. So where I was going with this, I was just playing around because I wanted to add some extra detail. I wanted to revolve this piece. I'm gonna go to Tab key, go to my object view. I want to go to object view. There we go. So if I target this one here, I want that to kind of rotate around my subject, but I don't want multiples. And one of the beautiful thing about Blender is I can just do one object, do multiples of it, place it however many I want and wherever I want, and I can only edit that one object, and all of them will edit at the same time, which is kind of a nice little workflow that I've always enjoyed. So if I come over to here and I'm going to give this an array, if I remember correctly, it's 24 is what I had for the original size. So in this larger piece, I'm going to keep it the same. We're going to say 24 pieces. I want this to go around this subject in 24. Now remember, we put an empty in here, right? That empty is dead center on the 0, axis. Okay. And keeping that in mind, I am going to go over and give that a modifier now. So if I come over here to the modifier and go to array, okay, and on by default it's going to array it down the x-axis. In your modifier options here, by default, it's going to give you a relative offset. And it's going to, and the axis that has the 1 is the direction that it's going to be moving in, 1 or -1, whichever way you want to go. So if I click and hold and drag this, I can go in either direction only on the x-axis. I want 24 of those, right? So go 24. Okay. So now I've got 24 of these that I can array in either direction. But that's not what I want to do. I want this to be in a circle. And I want that to be in a circle based on the location of an object, right? So that object that I want this to be arrayed around, it's going to be that empty, or in Lightwave, we call it a null, right? It's going to be that empty. So with that targeted, I want to turn off the relative offset. And what I'm going to focus on instead is what's called the object offset, right down here near the bottom. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4th up from the bottom. And if I click it, nothing's happening. However, if I drop down the little triangle here, I can tell it what object to array around. So if I target this, in here, I'm going to have the empty. Now, if you happen to have a whole bunch of objects in your scene, that empty may not come up. So you basically have to come up here, target that eyedropper, or use the scroll wheel of your mouse and scroll it within the menu and just tap on it up here. Okay. So if I click on the empty right up in there, there you go. So you can see it's going to use that empty to array around. All right. So if I got 24, okay. Now we got a little bit of a problem here. So what I'm going to do is before I do anything, I want to show you something else. I'm going to turn off this array. I deleted the array. In order for this to work, I have to have the rotation of the object. That object rotation, or the object origin, has to be set to the origin of the empty. Right? So the empty is in 0, 0, 0 coordinate. So if I right click here, go to my set origin, this is how you reset the origin of your object very quickly. I'm going to tell it to go, or I want the origin of my object to be set to the location of my 3D cursor. The 3D cursor is that little, that red and white circular thing. If I click on it, it jumps. See right there, right? It sets it to the location. Now, when
That
this
explains a lot.
Right, exactly. So now remember, you can set that 3D cursor anywhere in your scene, right? But we want it right there on that 0, 0 point. Now, when it rotates, so when this rotates, I can do this, right? It's gonna be set to that. Now, when I give it an array, I'm gonna come up here, give it an array. I'm gonna tell it to give it 24. Okay, there's my array. Go away, thank you. Okay, there's my array of all my objects. Now here's where it gets really, really fun. I could now go to my empty. All right. Well, not yet. I'm sorry. My fault. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Steve's gonna be screaming at me at this point. Don't do that. So anyways, so I'm gonna go to the object, and I need to get it off a relative offset, right? So we're going to turn off the relative offset. We're going to go to the object offset, select it, and drop it down. And if I hit this here, I'm going to target my empty. I'm going to tell the object to array around. It's going to be my empty. If I click it, okay, so there's my empty. Now, this is the thing that threw me off when I first learned this, is if you go to the empty itself and you manually rotate on the Z-axis, there you go. So you think, at first I thought if you just rotate the object on the Z-axis, that'll happen, but it isn't. It's based on the empty. Okay. If I make sure I target this again, actually, no, I want the empty targeted, my fault. I'm gonna have the empty targeted. Now, if I go, I'm gonna go over here to my calculator, and I want this spaced out evenly. That's my calculator. If I want this spaced out accurately and evenly, I've got 24 of these, and I want it to be set within a 360-degree rotation. So if I go 360 degrees divided by 24, that'll give me, no, that's not right. Hold on a minute. It should be like 360 degrees divided by 24. It's going to be 15. That's right. 15. That's going to be 15-degree increments. So I'm going to go, my empty is selected, right over here on the left-hand side, it says minus 15, which is what we want. So we're going to take off that 0.3 and we're going to make it 0. And there we go. It sets it equally, every one of them spaced equally apart. So too close together, no big deal. Target the object, tab key, go to my edit mode, come over here and let's resize this one, S key for scale. Do something like this. Okay. All right. Now let's go to my number 3 key on the keyboard for the shortcut. Target this here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the I key and set it. All right. Remember, if you hold the control key down, like Steve said, you can do something similar to what we have in Lightwave. Pull that on up. All right. Now I'm going to hit the I key again. Well, no, I'm not going to hit the I key again. I'm going to tap down to commit my changes, then hit the I key again. But this time I'm going to tap E key, extrude up. And we can start creating these little things that start to give us a little bit more detail. All right, go back. So they're all like instances of that one, which is absolutely beautiful. I want to add a little more detail here. Maybe I'll go to that top one. If I hit the extrude button, right click to reset it, S key for scale, scale it outward. And I'm just going to pull that on up like so. E key for extrude. Okay. And then Command or Control B for bevel. I think what I'll do also is getting close here. Hit the number 2 key for edge selecting mode. Grab that edge so we can add a chamfer, which is Command or Control B. There we go. That's what I wanted. And then my scroll wheel to decide how many of these I want. All right, so you see where we're going. So it's kind of fun stuff. Let's see. Steve 15. Yes. I knew it was 15, Steve. It's just I wanted to show people how to use the calculator. I'm going to get slapped around for that. So, damn, it's about that time already. All right. So what we have here, just very quickly, is we've got our mirror, right? Everything's mirrored. Everything's going to be equal exactly as we want to. If I wanted to go back over to here, let's go back to my not object mode. I want to go grab that object there, go to my edit mode, go to my number 3 key on my keyboard, select all this one, hit the I key on the keyboard, and I want I got the individual selected. This is exactly what I wanted, but I went out way the wrong way. So Command Z, that was an accident. There we go. Okay, I key. There we go. That's what I want, just to take that to there. And the reason this works this way, the individuals, is because I set that for individual here. I don't know the shortcut for that. If there's a shortcut, Steve will let me know. And then just go ahead and hit my E key for extrude. And let me see, what am I? There we go. And I'm just playing at this point. For some reason, Blender's slowing down a little bit. I think it's just because my graphics card is being utilized by StreamYard. Okay.
If you apply all that stuff, will it speed back up?
Well, I don't see. This is not a lot of geometry in here. It's just very, very little. I just think it's just the graphics card. I think I'm sharing my screen with all you guys, and it was just having a hiccup.
Hmm.
That's all it was. I mean, I'm not gonna really worry about it. Okay. I guess gosh, it's 1 o'clock already. It's that time. I mean, was this helpful for you guys? David Glenn says, is there a cheat sheet for Blender shortcut? Yeah, I know there is. Matter of fact, if you go to their website, I think there's I believe it's a PDF file for Blender shortcuts on the go to blender.org. I believe it's there. Yeah, so MW4054 says 3.1 a bit clunky. You know, I noticed that with Steve, if Steve is still here, maybe you can address that a little bit too. I found that 3.1 ended up being a little clunky too when it in terms of how it utilizing memory. From time to time, I noticed some things happening that I know shouldn't be happening, and I'm thinking it's because of the upgrade. I'm liking 3.1 overall. Um, let's see what's this here coming. That's a cheat sheet for Blender. Yay! I guess Nightwolf is saying he's loving it. I assume. Big help. Now I'm totally overwhelmed. In Blender, okay, hey guys. So if you feel like you're overwhelmed a little bit, I've got to give this to you. Um, um, I'm going to copy and paste this and put this into the Twitch chat. I'm doing a full day introduction to Blender class, which will get you up to speed. It's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and it's just $95. So Jen and Dave will be there. Jen and Shigen, Dave Gerard, they're going to be there. I got a guy. I've got a guy, Ari. You may know Ari from JPL. He's in the class coming up. So we got some heavy light wave hitters who are trying to learn Blender also. Who's in that class? It's just $95. Get in on the class. So I just posted the link. All right. So definitely get involved. Is Blender for artists still a good thing, or is Blender interface pretty good? Blender interface is way better than it ever has been before. I started playing with Blender back before version 1, and it was really, really, really bad. So it wasn't until Blender 2.5 or somewhere around thereabouts or something like that is when I started exploring it again. Yeah, that was when the interface started to look much, much better. Let's see. We've got okay, so he says I moved to 3.2 already. Is 3.2 in beta or is it still in alpha? Let's go take a look. We're gonna go take a look together. So I'm gonna see what's going on with 3.2. Blender.org. There we go. And there's Blender. So if we go to download right up here and 3.1, and if we go down to the bottom in the pink area, we got our Blender experimental. Okay, let's see where 3.2 is at this point. It's still an alpha. Yeah, I just don't play with alphas. I prefer not to play with alphas. If it goes to beta, I'll do it. I'll download it and because at this point it's just minor bug fixes they consider. But I'll stick with the stable versions and the beta versions. Yeah, so Steve was he's agreeing it's an alpha. Everybody's seen alpha. So last time I looked, it was 2.9, and they added the 2D animation. I think the 2D animation has always been there before 2.9. It's been there for a little while. I thought it was 2.7 or 8 or something, but I could be wrong about that. I don't remember. Alpha dogs. No, I just don't want to deal with alpha. It's just, and when I want to start producing something and I'm liking where it's going, and then things stop working on me because or they're way too buggy. It just frustrates me too much. So I'll stick with the beta. They're doing a hell of a job with this program, guys. And like Steve White says, learn those shortcuts. I know I've been a bad example, Steve. I'll learn the shortcuts and I'll do it right. So Steve is like my mentor on this stuff. So he'll come in and slap me around. Nope, do those shortcuts. It's okay. Do the shortcuts. And the reason I kind of do that with the moving the widget around a lot, because that's kind of the way you work in Maya a lot. So I got in the habit of doing that. Okay, we got there are blank programmable keyboards like point of sale keyboards, which go reasonably priced on eBay. My hunch is that could help in learning the learning curve by entering in the shortcuts. You know what, guys? I use this. This is what I use. I use Evernote, and I've got notes for everything. And you can put in your Blender. You can download the PDF file for Blender, and you can drag and drop it into your Evernote, and it'll stay there. And you can browse through it that way. And when I first started learning Blender, there was so many damn shortcuts that was a little bit frustrating. But trust me, you will learn it really fast, and you're going to get in the habit. Like you think it's overwhelming. Trust me, your brain will quickly adapt, and you're going to be used to it, and you're going to be able to remember everything. And believe it or not, you will. Some things I do out of habit, right? Like not using shortcuts as much as I should. It's just out of habit, not a preference, and that's a bad habit I got to break, and I promise I will. Let's see. You could do the movie Titan. Yeah, we could. We could. Blender 2D and 3D animation together in one program. Yep. Now, I'm going to bring a guy on to present next time who is really good at the 2D stuff animation. He's a comic book artist, and he uses the Blender draw tools on a regular basis. I do not. I'm not. I'm just. I like the 3D aspects, so I'm going to bring him here and have him share with everybody some of his workflow and techniques as well. Howard Simpson is his name, and he's worked with Marvel Comics and DC Comics and stuff like. He's a personal friend of mine. I'll bring him on next time. I think you guys will enjoy it. Let's see. I need to find some type of modifiers in Blender, as in Lightwave. I'm assuming what you're asking is, what you're stating is that you would like the same type of the modifier functionality in Lightwave. Unfortunately, Lightwave is not a non-destructive package. Blender, to my knowledge, is the only 100% completely non-destructive package. I think there's one other, and I'm trying to remember the name. But anyways, it's a completely non-destructive 3D package.
Might be talking about the procedural textures and stuff like that.
Textures, that's correct.
There's a ton of them in Lightwave.
Oh yeah. Well, we've got. Well, I'm talking about the geometry nodes and stuff of that nature. Blender's getting real serious with that. Geometry nodes. I've still yet to learn that. Maybe Steve can come in and share something on that. David Glenn says, we've learned shortcuts from Lightwave. It's only reasonable to learn them from Blender. Yep, I agree. That's exactly correct. But trust me, you're going to remember. Right? At first, you're going to forget because there's a lot of them. At first, you'll forget, but then when you get frustrated and you go back and you remember again, you won't forget again. And your brain has no limits. Your brain will start to remember all. I mean, look at what Steve did today. He remembers all these shortcuts, right? After a while, your brain just expands and it just remembers everything. And then you'll start to work a lot faster. Let's see, anyone using DAZ 3D in Blender? Well, a lot of people are using DAZ 3D objects in Blender. A lot of the users are. if I use DAS 3D objects, I'll use them only as a base in order to model from. Let's see. Are you resigned to the fact Lightwave is now defunct? Unfortunately, our job as digital artists, I'm going to bring that back up again. Where's that question? Oh, damn it. There we go. Okay. Okay. So unfortunately, as digital artists, we have to move on. Time is money. And now we've got a product that has not only surpassed Lightwave, but matches the functionality of current day workflow and is championing compositing and modeling and animation and geometry nodes and all those things that are important to current day workflow. This program has embraced it and is perfecting it and is getting better at it, and it's free. It's not going to break your wallet. If you're going to buy plugins, they're going to be no more than 40, 50 bucks. Most of them are like 10 to 15 to 20 bucks, and they're good. So economically, it just makes more sense to just start including this package with your Lightwave workflow. I mean, I hate to say it, but I love Lightwave just as you guys do, but for some reason, some companies just let things go. And then the market just surpasses it, and it's just the way it is. They have a one-button conversion for what? What are you referring to? There is no conversion button needed for Lightwave. All you do is you export your models as an FBX and Blender. And this is the beauty of Blender. Blender will recognize it exactly as you created it in Lightwave. There'll be no difference in look and feel. Just export it as an FBX and import it into Blender as a import it in as as an FBX. All your layers and everything will all be listed accordingly. I only remember when someone asked me a question. now. Ruscular says same for icon can convert to Blender to use Blender particle effects, mostly in faster rendering times. The rendering in Blender, guys, is way surpassed Lightwave. I'm sorry. I mean, before that, rendering in Lightwave was like the best and the fastest. It's not. It's behind. All right. The Blender rendering is fabulous. And you got different versions of renderers in Blender. All right. So DAZ to Blender is if someone wants to come on and talk about DAZ to Blender, you can. I mean, it's just simple. Just whatever you do in DAZ, export it out as an FBX, bring it into Blender, and you're done. For the most part, unless I don't use a lot of DAZ stuff. I usually custom create all my own stuff. Okay, so back to my question above. What I am looking for is a magnet type tool for Blender, a magnet type tool for Blender. A lot of the same tools in Lightwave. Okay, we have that. Yes, I'm moving on with Blender. Okay. Yeah, you've got, let's see, the magnet tool. Well, the magnet tool, remember, the magnet tool, if I'm reading your question correctly, was created in Lightwave because sculpting didn't exist. Now you got sculpting in Blender, right? Like, here's something. Let me show you something. My Planet Eater in Blender.
The tweak tool in Blender, along with a fall off, is just like the magnet tool.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. The Planet Eater that I've been working on. Let me go and open recents. That should be my Planet Eater number 3. Yeah. Don't save that other one. I don't care. Oh, Smile. Okay, so let's see. What have I got here? Let's go to my layout view. I use this using a lot of sculptors. This is a a reimagination of the Planet Eater from the Doomsday Machine in Star Trek. So it's let me go over here to my object mode. Okay. Back to my layout and Alt H for unhide. And let's see, what have I got in here? Okay, so I wanted the textures on the Planet Eater to be real rather than the painted textures. So the client's going to paint the color on it, but I also wanted that texturing to be on there. So I was using a lot of the sculpting tools in Blender for this. And then next time we ran out of time today. I'll kind of I'll finish this up and show you where this is going, because basically I'm gonna bring this inside a Substance Painter and texture this guy out. I want to texture him out a little bit, and I'll show you some ZBrush stuff. But we ran out of time. Um, let's see. Another questions or comments here. It says, okay, so in converting Lightwave to Blender, what FBX settings do you use? All right, so let's go take a look at that. Let me
None really.
well, exactly. You're right. There's practically none. There are some things you do need to pay attention to. And I will do that now. Okay, here's my plan here, right? So if I'm going to take this to FBX, it's pretty easy. It's just file menu, export, and then go to the FBX. Now, what you got to watch out for is this: is if you want everything, let's see, with apply unit, where am I here? Include right up here. All right. If you want everything in your scene to be exported out, make sure the selected objects is unchecked. If you only want certain things in your scene to be selected, select those things in your scene, right? Select what you want in your scene, and then make sure that the selected objects is checked. That's kind of the main gotcha, especially if you're going to do 3D printing, because maybe you have a character and the character's hat and the character's shoes, and you want to print the hat but not the character. Select the hat and then make sure export only what's selected, and then you can export that hat to your 3D printing program to print the hat, for instance. All right, say you guys never considered the scope tool, or for Blender you're referring to, I assume. Yeah, but I think we just kind of talked about it a little bit, but we know we can definitely talk more about the scope tool.
Real quick, if you want to, if I can share my screen, I can answer
Yeah,
that
go for it.
question.
All right, go share your screen.
You know, he was talking about the magnet tool in Lightwave,
Right.
and
I'm gonna add you to stream.
you know, if you come up here and select the tweak and turn this on, see if it's off, you just select and move. But if you turn the fall offs on, it acts just like the magnet tool, I think anyway, in Lightwave. And you can change the size of its influence too.
That's right. And it's that what is that called?
It's just a tweak tool here, and the nice thing about it is
for proportional editing. Proportional editing does the same thing. It's much faster.
unlike Lightwave, you can have points and edges and polygons all selected at the same time if you want. Just go up here, and so no matter what you select,
Right.
it works. Where in Lightwave, it only works, in point mode, and I think you have to grab the individual points to make the magnet tool work.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
So anyway, that's
So
this is kind of nice.
if you're
So
if you're a serious 3D modeler, you should not be using the magnet tool. And magnet tool has been long gone in terms of
well, I think it has its place.
Oh no, not anymore.
Sure it does.
Sorry. Oh God. All right. We're done, right? We can go home, have lunch. And okay, guys, don't forget. Well, I'm gonna send out a little notice as a reminder. My Death Valley classes this week that I'm teaching, it starts mid this week and ends next Monday. So no Lightwave roundtable discussion next weekend, but we will start up normally the week after. So be aware of that. And I'll send out a little notification on Facebook and also on through the mailing list. If I should have a little mailing list thing here. Actually, I do. Let me post the mailing list link. I actually had it in here in my Facebook section. There we go. And let's go to Stephen Burns. And I think I put it right over here if I remember correctly. And it's a link to join our mail list, the Lightwave Users Group mailing list. If you haven't, there it is right there. If you haven't yet signed up for it, oh crap. How do I get access to the link here? If I do it this way. Here we go. I'm going to copy this whole stream of letters. It's frustrating. That's not what I put in. I put it in a shortened version. But anyways, make sure it's free. I'm going to put this link. It's the Lightwave. Type this in here. So Lightwave mail lists. That way, because whenever I do these streams, I'm also promoting through the mailing list first before I actually post it to Facebook. All right, so just go to this link now, and then just give me, just type in your name and your email address. That way, you're officially on the Lightwave Users Group list. So anything that's coming up, and I'm notifying all the members, then you guys can, you'll be notified first. You know what's going on. Any updates with Lightwave or Blender or Zbrush or whatever we're doing, I'll be sending it out to that list as well. Thank you very much, Carm and Tim and Steve. I greatly appreciate it. It's always a joy to learn from you, to partake in you guys' wisdom and your knowledge.
There's not much there.
Hey, I'm just a hack. I'm learning.
Same here.
I'm learning. I'm working in this every day. I'm learning. So, and a lot more stuff is coming up too. I'm also doing the digital artistry workshops for the San Diego Comic Fest. In fact, here I'll give you a link to the workshops. It's here in San Diego, obviously. The guys who started the guys who started the San Diego Comic Con, it started a new convention called San Diego Comic Fest, sdcomicfest.org. There we go. And let's let it come up here. There it is. Okay, so San Diego Comic Fest. I'm going to take this link and drop it into the chat box. Okay. There we go. And now inside the San Diego Comic Fest, up here under programming, if you mouse over that, I'm going to go down to the digital artistry workshops. I'm running those workshops this year again. I've got about 7 or 8 artists, really good artists. And for 3 days straight, from 10 a.m. in the morning until 5 p.m. at night, you can come in for free, with you at your paid admission to the Comic Fest and watch all the and participate in all the digital artistry workshops. So if I click on it now, there we go. And I'll tell you what, I'll put in the link that's going to take you directly to the digital artistry workshops page from the San Diego Comic Fest. There you go. Just type that in there. You get to see who's presenting. So we got presentations on Adobe InDesign, presentations on digital painting. Anthony Washington is a concept artist, so it's going to be digital painting in Photoshop. I'll be doing an introduction to 3D Blender class. We're going to be having a discussion on creating NFTs. From 3 to 4, from 4 to 5, we got vector illustrations from Photos and Illustrator. And then on Saturday, going to the next day on Saturday, we've got social media video on the go. The next hour is going to be introduction to animation with Blender 3D with me. Brian Haberlin, and you guys might know him. He's a world-renowned comic book artist. He's going to be doing presentations on advanced digital inking techniques. The hour after that's going to be next level editing in Premiere Pro. If you're interested in editing your videos and stuff, he's a director and does a lot of independent films. We've got the hour after that. We've got Inside Creative Cloud Express. That's the new thing from Adobe now, where everything's done online. Is not actually the cloud. The software isn't on your machine. Something new Adobe's trying to promote. And then we've got Introduction to Eon Reality and the Metaverse by Renee Wolsinger. We've got the hour after that. We've got Brian Haberlin again, 3D techniques in illustration and comics. We've got Anthony Washington again, digital comic book coloring techniques. And then we've got the Metaverse with 3D characters. And she's the ambassador for Eon Reality. And so that's going to be cool. So it's going to be like a full weekend that starts from April 22nd through the 24th. All right, it's from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if anybody is in LA or Orange County or in San Diego, come on down and check this out. Coming on. Unfortunately, it won't be recorded. It's not going to be live virtually, any of that. So you have to actually come to the Comic Fest. Okay, so Brian Haberlin did a lot of Poser to Lightwave, but now that is gone. I wonder what his process is. His process is iClone to Blender to Zbrush. That's his current workflow. iClone, Blender, and Zbrush. Mac Nonsense says sessions virtually by chance. No, it is not. It will not be, because the convention isn't going to have a fast enough Wi-Fi for us to tap into, and it's a paid convention, so I can't do that. Okay, so if anybody's in or near San Diego, come on down. It'll be a fun time. Okay, that's it. It's lunchtime. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks for doing these, Steve.
Yeah, you're welcome. My pleasure. And in the future, I want to do something even more extensive, but we'll see. I'll kind of put a call for artists. Okay, I'll see everybody soon.
Take care, man. Thanks.
Hey, bye.